Before District 12 was known for rebellion, before Haymitch, Katniss, and Peeta, there was Lucy Gray, and standing beside her, a young Cornelius Snow, still charming, still hungry, and already dangerous. Hey, this is Bookmark My Words. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Sarah.
Please like, share, follow. Tell us if you like the Hunger Games series. We want to know. This is Cornelius Snow's book, and I really enjoyed it. There's actually some people that don't enjoy the additions to the series.
Yeah?
They say it's unnecessary. I don't know. I kind of like a little history to it, so I like them. Kind of, really loops around when you read President Snow, and then you read Haymitch's, and then you get the Katnisses. You're like, oh, so that's why he just really doesn't like Katniss or District 12.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of hate there. A lot. And it's all because of Lucy Gray.
I have to read the Hunger Games books this
You
year.
have to. I almost wonder if it would be better for you to start with the very first one. It's not as action-packed, but it is pretty good. It is bigger. Sorry.
I mean, that
It's
looks
the biggest.
okay, though. It's doable.
There. I guess. Well, if you get Libby, you can do it for free.
I know. I don't listen anymore, though.
Oh, that's true.
I'm going to probably struggle to get my 40 books this year.
I actually bumped mine down. I bumped mine down to 30.
Well, you're a student teaching.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I knew, when I'm not doing schoolwork and stuff, I am a little bit more like, okay, let's not think. Yeah. And I don't know why reading is so exhausting, but right now I'm finding it a little tiring. So I'm like, okay, if we're doing an audiobook. I do it when I'm getting ready for work, when I'm driving to work, and when I'm driving home from work. Excuse me, school or whatever. Because it's like 20 minutes away. So that's at least 40 minutes a day. I'm technically reading.
See, that's when I jam out and de-stress. And books don't de-stress me, so I can't do that.
Oh, I don't.
And I don't have a very long drive.
I was going to say, well, yeah, you're 3 minutes away.
I won't make it very far.
I'm driving 20 minutes to the school where I'm at. So we are doing A Ballad of Songbirds and Snake. Synopsis is, it is the morning of the reaping that will kick off the 10th annual Hunger Games. In the capital, 18-year-old Cornelius Snow is preparing for his one shot at glory as a mentor in the games. The once mighty House of Snow has fallen on hard times, its fate hanging on its slender chance that Cornelius will be able to outcharm, outwit, and outmaneuver his fellow students to mentor the witting tribute. The odds are against him. He's been given the humiliating assignment of mentoring the female tribute of District 12. The lowest of the low. Their fates are now completely intertwined. Every choice Cornelius makes can lead to favor or failure, triumph or ruin. Inside the arena, it will be a fight to the death. Outside the arena, Cornelius starts to feel for Lucy Gray, his doomed tribute, and must weigh his need to follow the rules against his desires to survive, no matter what it takes. So yeah, it's kind of like a love story, but it don't end well. For those of you that like happy endings,
well, that just
does not have a happy ending. I'm sorry, because we all know he goes on to be president.
Well, yeah, and a dick.
Yeah, and then kind of doesn't go well from there. Cornelius, obviously, was born and raised.
Cornelius.
I know.
I just have to say that.
He was born and raised in the capital. Capital kind of hasn't always had a glamorous image. Like at one point, he talks about how he remembers when he was about 6 years old when him and his cousin Tigress was out looking for food. One of their neighbors was sawing the leg off of a dead person, a person he had just killed, and Cornelius.
Wait, so the capital wasn't always like what we know?
No. But yeah, and Tigress was like, he's probably going to go home and cook it for his family. So there was cannibalism at one point in the capital.
I would die.
Super poor for the families, probably because most of them were at war. Cornelius and Tigress, they're cousins. Tigress is a little bit older than him. She is the cat lady in the movies at the very, very end that the rebels hide out in her dress shop. And she's like, he used to think I was pretty once too. That's his cousin. And because how he treated her Like, once he became president, she kind of helped bring down her cousin because she knew he was a monster. And
How the hell did they get money?
I won't tell you that.
Oh,
This book's how he got money. So yeah, the Snow family, his mother died of illness, father died in the war. I want to say Tigress's parents were the same way. So they're being raised by their grandmother. They call her grandmam.
grandmam.
Grandmam. I was
I want
like,
to be a grandmam.
that is hilarious. She has almost become delirious with loss and age.
Oh,
Um, she seems very sweet, but she's very, very prideful. Kind of her downfall. Like every morning she gets up and sings the Capitol song, even though she cannot sing, and they make fun of her, Cornelius and uh
Tigress.
Tigress, and she's well known for her garden of white roses. So that's where that symbol comes from. Is his grandmother,
Grandmam.
grandmam.
Get it right.
Gotta remember that.
I do.
You gotta remember that. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, you don't hear that every day.
Like, I don't want it to be for a very long time, but
Grandma,
grandmam.
grandmam.
G-maw.
So yeah, and so they're kind of putting on a facade that they still have money. They still live in their luxurious penthouse, but like he's boiling cabbage for breakfast. And when he has to get dressed really, really nice for the reaping, like Tigress had taken his shirt and it was kind of like dull with color. So she had convinced her lady that she works for to, "Oh, your curtains need bleach. They're not white enough." And then she stuck the shirt in with the curtains to be bleached. So she, they're having to be very
Resourceful.
resourceful, just like the district people.
Hmm.
But nobody knows this. It's very shameful to be poor, in their capital ways. Oh, the poor people. So nobody knows how poor they are. Cornelius goes to like a high school kind of ish type place, and he wants to get a scholarship to go to like this college. It's just called the Academy. It's pretty much where they create like capital, they like train you for like capital jobs. He's just looking just to get a really nice job in the capital that's gonna make money. He doesn't at this time doesn't want to be in any type of power.
Oh.
He's like, I just want to get a nice job so that way we can keep what we have and I can take care of grandmam. Tigress can go on to fashion school. He just wants to do right by his family, which is so weird.
That is.
Is so weird.
He has a heart.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, sorta. He
Mm.
sorta has a heart. It comes and goes in true capital fashion. This is 64 years before Katniss, by the way.
Wow.
This is Hunger Games number 10. So Cornelius goes into school that day thinking that they're going to announce the winner of this scholarship in order to get him into the academy. He's one of the top of his class, so that's why he dressed up and there's a big party and he follows like all these rules he's set out for himself, like don't gorge on any of the food they give because that looks poor. Make sure you dress just like they do. And if it's off brand, just say, oh, well, you know how the old military style is coming back in fashion. Like everything he does is very calculated
Okay.
because he knows that they don't want the poor and beneath them people in their
So,
school.
not everybody in the capital is poor right now.
No.
Okay.
This is kind of like after the big giant war.
Okay. So some of
And
the families were affected more than
so,
others.
yeah, so some of the families, like, he talks about how the company that made the Snows rich got overrun by rebels and shut down, and they've just never recovered. And then when his dad died, I mean, he was
Okay.
like 6. So, I mean, there was just no coming back from that. And his grandmam, like, luckily had resources that kept them
Yeah.
alive. I mean, he can't eat lima beans because they at one point traded, I can't remember what she traded for, but there was cases and cases of lima beans, and she was like,
Yeah.
well, we're going to eat lima beans. It's fine. I mean, and that's how she's very posh. So he goes into the school thinking that he's going to get the scholarship to go into college, and they're like, you know what? We've got a better idea.
Oh no.
The 10th Hunger Games is literally tomorrow. The reaping's tomorrow, and we want to pull more viewers to get people to watch the Hunger Games because right now it's voluntary. You don't have to watch it. Like in Katniss's book, you
Oh.
have to.
Yeah.
No, it's voluntary. And people in the Capitol, they don't like it, they don't want to see the slaughter. There's not enough drama in it. They're just taking them and slaughtering them in an arena, whatever. So they're like, we need to get people to watch. So the one of the professors of the school, who also is the dean, his name is Highbottom,
High bottom.
which I was just like, wonder if they did that on purpose. But so Dean Highbottom and the head game maker at the time, Dr. Gall, decided that they were going to have the top 24 students of the school mentor the tributes. And then they're assigned the tributes. So it's not like in Katniss's where other victors tribute their own mentors. They don't do that. And everybody online says that they wonder if because of Cornelius going through all this is the reason why they treat the tributes better when they're first, like after the reaping. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't treat Lucy very well. So he's picked. He is number 24. So he gets whoever the girl tribute is from District 12. Now, from history, up until this moment, most districts haven't always had a victor, but District 12, they said because they're so malnourished and stuff, they go out pretty quickly. Professor Highbottom doesn't like him, so he's like, he's doing this for revenge. He has never liked the Snow family, and he doesn't understand why. He's always hated me since day one. I know he's doing this out of revenge for whatever reason I've done. So the 24 mentors get to watch the reaping, and as always, they start from the East Coast, work west. So they start with District 12, and ladies first. So they pull his first, and she is described as a spot of color in a dingy town, like, because they're the
Yeah.
mining colony, and she is wearing like this rainbow dress, and she just looks put together some. She doesn't look like some of the miners. And they pull her name, and you can tell that some of the people around her are pretty shocked. And of course, her name is Lucy Gray. And so as she's walking up there, you see her pull something out of her pocket. And when she passes this one girl, she drops a snake down her dress.
Oh, jeez.
And then it causes a whole big commotion. And I can't remember how exactly she ends up on stage singing. I think one of her siblings, friends starts singing to her and she starts singing back. Whatever. Let's just say it was a whole big show. And,
She
they're
wasn't like
like,
walking to her death.
yeah, she's
It was a
like,
production.
oh, big country hoedown out here in District 12 on the 10th Hunger Game reaping.
Okay.
Okay.
Might as well enjoy it, right? I
I've
guess.
just figured out Appalachian people we're just always going to cause drama and problems, okay?
Yeah.
I feel that. But
In
anyway,
my Appalachian bones.
yeah, don't matter if we're singing or twirling, we're going to cause a problem. Because Hey Mitches is also a big, like, WTF, what's going on? But anyway, so uh, Cornelius is kind of like, okay, maybe I can at least get her up there. Maybe I can get her top 10, at least. I can work with that. Everybody else's tributes get reaped, whatever. And then they go on and they cut and they're like in the classroom because now the tributes got to travel to the Capitol.
Mhm.
And Dr. Gall and Dean Highbottom are talking to them and they're like, we need to think of some ideas to get the viewers kind of excited about this Hunger Game. This has been going on 10 years. We're 10 years out of the war. We need to show them why this is important. And so his group come up with the whole betting, if they can bet on the tributes,
Oh.
and also give gifts. And this is when another classmate speaks up, and he's just like, I just don't understand how we can just keep doing this to people. His name is Sir Janus. I love these names.
Sir Janus.
Sir Janus. Sir Janus. Sir Janus? Either or, I don't know. He is actually not a capital-born citizen.
Oh.
He was born in District 2, which apparently makes ammunition. And his father's company during and right after the war kind of just took off. So his family went from having like kind of money to having big money.
Oh.
And then because his father like really helped the capital, they moved to the capital. And Sir Janus and his mother, they're like really struggling to adjust to the capital life, and they don't see the districts as animals. They're like, that's our friends and family back at 2. And his dad's like, you got to get used to this whole mentality of we are not the same now. And Sir Janus is kind of
Like, yeah, not gonna do that,
I
man.
don't like, no, those are my classmates. Those are my family. Like, we still have family back there. They make fun of him because he calls his mother Ma, and they're like, Ma? And he's like, yeah, my Ma. Like, she bakes. Nobody's mother does that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no, we don't. Your mom baked this. But anyway, so he kind of starts some issues. His father is the one that's given away the scholarship to the academy. So Cornelius kind of starts like, hey, that's not how we do it here. Kind of trying to like mentor him because
Yeah.
he's like, if I be nice to him,
Right. Get in good.
maybe his dad will like me, and kind of, but he's also kind of like, oh man, he's trouble. It's a double-edged sword there. So he's kind of like, oh, crackers. This guy again, he's talking. I think you do eventually become friends, but doesn't end well. So at this point, sorry, I'm kind of skipping a lot because it's kind of the span of, haymitches and Katniss. It doesn't go straight into the arena, like in the fighting. There's like a long period before, and then the arena stuff's like really short, and then it goes a long period after. So it's more than just the game.
The fight, yeah, the game.
There's a lot of the before and after stuff. So I'm trying to make sure I kind of fit in as much as possible without giving anything away. So if it sounds like I'm jumping around, I kind of am, but it is a really
Buckle
good.
up.
Yeah, it is a really good book though. So Snow finds out that the tributes are bringing in like the next day or whatever. So he goes to the train platform and he listens to Tigress's idea. She's like, "What if you were to greet her like a person when they're brought in?" And he was like, "What do you mean like a person?" She's like, "Well, it's going to be really scary to being taken from your home and everything and being put on a train and traveled across, you know,
Yeah. The
from
country,
wherever, the
essentially.
country, to be brought here to die." And he's like, "Okay, so what do you think I'd do?" And she's like, "I don't know. Maybe just go and just greet and introduce yourself." So he does, and so that's where he goes and he takes one of his grandmother's roses and he goes and he sees this cattle car train pull up. Yeah, a cattle car train, which if you've ever seen a cattle car train,
Ain't cozy.
it's not nice. It's very windy, very gusty.
Brought her in like
They
livestock.
brought them in like livestock. And he was first like, oh, I missed the train. And so he stops a peacekeeper and he's like, when are they bringing in the tributes? And the guy went, well, let me open the door first. Like, and he's like, you've got them on cattle cars? And he's like, yeah, why not? And they open it up and they come like spilling out and they look.
So they're all in the same one,
So they're
too?
all pretty much in the same one. I think they're in 2,
Mm,
but they're all covered in hay and they're dirty. And he's just like, ooh. Like, he's really grossed out. And
yeah.
he's just like, well, which one's in 12? And he's like, the first car, because they're the first ones that's been on it. So they've been on this cattle car for 2 days. And he goes and he's like, okay, well, whatever. First impressions. So he goes and he goes to greet her and he's like, I'm your mentor. Welcome to the Capitol. And he like hands out a rose and she's like, thanks. My mama used to bathe me in rose petals and milk. And he's like, okay. And then she kind of just walks away. And he's just kind of left there stunned, like,
Okay.
okay, what? And he's like, I don't even know what to say to that. So he starts to follow her, and they get on. It's kind of like, I guess they would haul animals in it, but like big animals, truck. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's like pretty much a cage on wheels. Well, he's like, okay, we're just gonna follow her. So he jumps in too.
Okay.
And they're like, who are you? And he's just like, I'm Lucy Gray's mentor. And they're like, mentor? And they're like, yeah, you've all got mentors. And they're like, okay, where's ours? And he's like, well, I guess you meet them eventually. And they're like, so they didn't show up here to meet us? And he's like, it's not mandatory. I just decided to do it. And then, of course, some of the bigger ones are like, so you're Capitol born, just jumped in a car full of people who are going to be let off to slaughter anyway? Like, what's stopping us from killing you?
Right. Yeah.
And of course, he's like, I didn't think that far ahead. So Lucy and her District 12 companion, his name escapes me at the moment. She's pretty close with him, but nothing romantic. Kind of step in the way, and she's like, "Now this is my mentor. You're not gonna hurt him." And she kind of like calms the situation. They're like, "Okay, fine, have your mentor." And he thinks at the time that's saving his life. And no, dude, you're just getting started. Like you're just getting started. So they get dumped in a zoo.
In a zoo?
In a zoo enclosure.
Okay. Okay.
Like where the monkeys hang out. Yeah, that's where they get dumped. And all these reporters or stuff are like looking down in the enclosure at them, and they're just like, oh my gosh, there they are. And he's like, oh my gosh, now I'm in this zoo cage, or I'm in this enclosure with all of these tributes, and now the media's here. And so he's like, don't act suspicious. But it's pretty obvious considering he's wearing his school uniform. He
He can't really blend in.
does not belong. And then the newscaster guy knows him by name. And then he's just like, well, I just thought I'd escort my tribute personally. And so he puts on a big show for the media, and luckily Lucy's pretty smart and she catches on, and she does too. And, they do think they ask her to sing, and she's just like, oh, well, I don't have my guitar. And, if y'all bring me a guitar, I'd sing for you anytime. I mean, just Southern charm. And they're all just eating it up, loving it, because she don't care to talk to them. Well, of course, this gets Snow in trouble. He gets pulled out. They're, out of the enclosure. He goes back to school, and Dean Highbottom is like, what were you doing? You could have died. And he was just like,
Yeah.
I could have, but,
Kind of almost did.
And then everybody's kind of just like, wait a minute, we can go see our tributes. And he's like, really not supposed to, but I guess so. He starts feeding Lucy through the bars
Aw.
because he finds out they're not feeding them. They're not feeding them
How are they
anything.
supposed to go fight
So
to
they're
the
like,
death when they're not being fed?
so like one of the times when he goes and visits her, they're like talking and she's not real peppy, and he's like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just a little hungry. And he's like, well, when was the last time you ate? And she was like, 3 days ago.
Oh my.
And he's
They're
like,
gonna die
yeah,
before
he's
they get
like,
in the arena.
aren't they feeding you? And she went, no. And he's like, okay, well, hold on. So he starts illegally, because I guess their school has like a rule against hoarding food.
Oh.
So he secretly starts that, because he's poor too.
Yeah.
So he starts sneaking half of his lunch to his tribute.
Oh.
And then some of the other mentors kind of think of the same thing. And this would I'd be this girl. This one tribute, she stabs her mentor because she was like, "Oh, you want the sandwich? Oh, you want the sandwich?"
Oh. No, I'd stab her too.
So she stabs the mentor, and then of course the peacekeepers shoot her and kill her. So
So they
it.
started the 10th game with 11 people?
Yeah,
Or
even less. We haven't even talked about the bombing yet.
what?
Yeah, it's it's a roller coaster.
And it wouldn't be 11 anyways. There's 2 per.
So the mentors and tributes do get to do like an interview thing, because this is where they come up with the idea of putting them on TV and interviewing them. And so their mentors have to like give them interview like questions, and they're like, okay, what's a talent you have? And of course Lucy's is easy, but like some of the other tributes actually have talents, and they show them off, and that's where you meet the first Flickerman. He is actually a weatherman.
Stop.
Yeah, he's actually a weatherman, and so that's where he gets all his pizzazz. And I'm guessing that's the Flickerman that does Katniss's stuff. I guess that's his daddy.
I was gonna say it probably.
Because he talks about his. I know in the movie he talks about his son. That's a baby. So I would assume since the Flickermans,
And it was 64 years?
yeah,
Yeah, Flickerman's probably around there.
that's what I figured. That makes sense.
If he was a baby then, yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's where they start coming up with. They're like, oh, let's make it like a TV interview, like a game show type deal, and put it on TV. Get to know the tributes.
Connect. I get it. I
They're
see where they're
just like
going.
us, but
Now
from the
let's watch them
districts.
die.
And so they go through that. They get to tour the arena, which at the time was just like this crumbling stadium. It was just like a concrete stadium.
Oh yeah, I guess they didn't have all that
They
technology
didn't
and
have all
stuff.
that technology, and like they were pretty advanced, but they weren't nowhere near what they were. So it was just like a concrete stadium, and half of it was collapsed and whatever, and it wasn't that great of a place. And as they're going to visit it with their tributes and a lot of peacekeepers, it gets bombed. Or a bomb goes off. They think the rebel group had set up some bombs and it got tripped. And some of the tributes escaped.
So there was even a rebel group all the way back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the tributes escaped. Some of the mentors died.
Damn.
So Cornelius actually almost dies at this point.
Cornelius. I'm sorry. I don't know.
You're not making this easy.
I just have to do that every time I hear that name. I'm sorry. There's also a basketball player on Kentucky whose last name is really funny, and I have to yell it every time they do it too. Jesus Christ. It's like I've got Tourette's or something. I'm sorry.
Collins. Well, that's what I was doing when I was making that, because her name is Susan Collins, and I went, Susan Collins! And I was like, I should do that at least once.
Now we
Anyway.
have. Sorry, I can behave myself.
It's now gone. Anyway, so Cornelius almost dies in this moment, and he's kind of trapped underneath like a concrete pillar of some sort.
Oh dang.
And Lucy's like running with the rest of the tributes, and he screams out help, and she actually pauses. And at first he's like in his head, he's going, why did I scream out help for her? Of course she's gonna run away. She's gonna leave me here to die. And she doesn't.
Oh.
She turns around and she saves him. And then of course she gets captured. When he wakes up in the hospital and stuff, he's like, oh my gosh, where's Lucy? Is she okay? Are they just gonna outright execute them? And they're like, no, they caught several of them. They're like, the one that Sir Janus was actually going to be the mentor to was actually a part of the rebel group, and that's why they got bombed. So they're questioning him to see if he knows anything. But since his tribute refused to speak to him because they were actually classmates in District 2,
Oh.
Sir Danis doesn't know anything, and he's super worried and kept going out and looking for him.
Oh.
So, since Lucy didn't escape, she didn't get hurt or anything by the peacekeepers. So you're going into the games. I think we're down minus 4. It's 4 or 5. So he's like, well, the odds are getting better. He's like, I'm going to scope out if there's a place you can just hide until towards the very end. Maybe if you just.
Because they didn't have all that crap to draw them out back then.
So he was just like, maybe.
No wonder he's so about drawing them out.
I know.
That's his technique.
He's like, maybe you can just hide. So he does find out because of the blast that there's tunnels underneath. And so he's like, hey, go down in those dang tunnels. Go down in those tunnels and just hide. He's like, even, take your district tribute with him, your partner with you, and just go down there and hide for as long as possible. Jesse. Sorry.
Eureka!
But
then it'll be down to them and they'll have to kill one of the other.
No. But I think what it is.
I mean, they can't do what Katniss did.
Yeah. So he also cheats.
Snow?
Yeah.
Oh.
He cheats for her. Mm. He technically cheats for her by going in and scoping out the place.
Well, yeah.
But then on top of that, he gives her rat poison in a little compact case. and he tells her to keep it in her pocket because her dress has pockets. It has pockets.
No woman with pockets in her dress cannot be stopped.
So she has rat poison in this little compact mirror, and at the time they didn't check ordinary things. They were allowed to bring one thing with them. So she brought this little compact, and they didn't check anything. So she just hid it in her pocket, and when she needed it, she used it. I'm not going to get too much into the game part, so that way I don't run out of time. But he also cheats again for her when he finds out, because Dr. Gall is crazy. I can't even not even begin to describe how crazy this lady is. She created like some of the first set of mutants
Oh.
or mutts, sorry. Some of the first mutts. Like she was the one that helped create Jabberjays.
Oh. Jabberjays, man.
She created these snakes that they're extremely poisonous and they're rainbow colored, but they get used to like their owners if they've been exposed to the smell, but they can, hunt like a pack of wolves.
Whoa.
So they're
Ew.
kind of dangerous.
I don't like
And
snakes.
so he gets a piece of, I think it's her handkerchief that she had used to wipe up some tears and blood. And he was just kind of like, I'm just gonna casually drop this in their tank. And then just kind of just hope nobody notices. And they don't for a really long time. And the rebels had attacked and killed someone else while everybody was in the arena. So Dr. Gall gets super pissed. And she's just like, you know what? I'm just going to let these snakes on everyone. Oh! And just nobody gets, there's no victor this year. She's like, that's the 10th Hunger Game. No victor this year. And so she releases the snakes. Guess what?
They don't go after Lucy.
Lucy's the only one they don't bite. They go after her, and it looks super crazy because she kind of just like at one point she's as far as she can get from them, and so she kind of just accepts her fate and just kind of, and they're not biting. They just kind of just crawl all over her, and then Snow's like, "You, that's your winner. That's it. That's a sign." He's like, "You get her out of there," and they do. Dr. Gall gets very suspicious, and Dean Highbottom does too. He's like, out of all of the tributes, yours won. And he's just kind of like,
Just that good.
yeah. And Snow's just like, oh, Snow lands on top because that's what their family motto is. So he's, yeah.
Snow lands on top.
Snow lands on top, which I thought, dang, that's pretty catchy.
That is pretty catchy. Now I want my name to be Snow.
No.
That's why we're not on top.
Dean Highbottom and Dr. Gall kind of like investigate why Lucy wasn't bitten by those snakes when they had previously talked about it and found out Snow had been cheating. Snow, Snow, Snow. Should have been a little bit more discreet. So he didn't get to see Lucy after she won the games. And so he's like, oh my God, like what happened to Lucy? And they're just like, don't worry about her, worry about yourself. We're sending you out to the districts as a peacekeeper because you cheated.
What?
And they're like, listen, we can do this or we can totally just, execute you. They're like,
feeling
because of your family name and your grandmam. Of course, they just call her grandmother. They're like, because your grandmother and her station, what used to be her station in life, we're going to respect her and Tigris, and we're going to just banish you. And they're like, he's kind of like accepts it. He's like, oh, okay, great. Like,
I mean,
now
like, what do you do though? Like, you don't want to die.
So he's like, well, I could at least still send all the money I make as a peacekeeper to Tigris and Grandmam. And Tigris can just keep them afloat, and my money can just keep, because I don't have to live on anything. I don't need things. So he's still thinking of ways to take care of them. He gets first sent to a different district, and then he kind of talks the guy into sending him to District 12. Because he's like, well, if I'm going to be out at a district, at least be at one that I think I'd enjoy. And he does. And then he runs into a very familiar face out there that he was just kind of like, oh, how'd you get here? And it's not Lucy Gray, it's Sir Janus. Sir Janus, because of what he did while the Hunger Games was going on, and his father's station in life, he got banished to District 12.
Oh.
So they're both there, and they're going day by day, doing daily stuff. Peacekeepers do. This is when he finds out what a mockingjay is. And he's like, that's weird, because as a peacekeeper, he has to go to the hangings and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where the song Hanging Tree comes from. Lucy Gray wrote it because there was a man that was about to be hung and he told his love to flee. That whole song, Snow was there for that. And the Mockingjays picked up where he was screaming for his wife to run away. And she didn't. So I mean, they both died. But and he was like, "What are those?" And the other peacekeepers were like, "Oh, those are Mockingjays." They copy the sound of anything they hear, and they're pretty wild out
Like
here.
on point.
Like you'll hear them everywhere. Um, and it kind of haunts him, like to the point where he's like, "Oh, I don't like that." Like, I don't like that.
Make it stop.
Make it stop. He's like, "Oh, they just keep screaming like the way he did," and they're like, "Yeah." They're like, they don't mimic voices like the Jabberjays. They're like, they just mimic sounds and stuff. So that kind of freaks him out. But so in order to get like kind of the morale back up, Sir James is like, "Hey, I've heard of these other peacekeepers going to this bar and kind of just have some fun. Let's just go. Let's not think about it. This is kind of just what we're gonna have to do." So they go, and Lucy Gray is performing with her family. And he gets to see how she is in her natural thing. And of course, there's a star-crossed lover
Oh.
into the crowd, like, so yeah. But she has
Obviously, it
some,
doesn't end well.
no, she has some drama. She has some drama that I was just like, ew.
Oh.
But at the same time, it makes sense because it's about a boy.
Ugh, boys make you do such dumb stuff.
But Neos hangs out with her family. That's where he finds out that the Covey are all named after a color and a song. Katniss is and is not related to Lucy Gray. So the Covey are not actually siblings by blood. They were like gypsies that just roamed around until they made the districts, and then they didn't know where to put them, so they put them in 12.
Okay.
But a lot of the adults either disappeared or died. So they'll talk about that being their sibling, but they're not actually biologically related. So she is the great great granddaughter of Lucy Gray's sister.
Okay.
So that's how it was like,
Okay.
yeah, like one of her, and it talks about it in Haymitch's book where he's best friends with Katniss's dad and how his mother was a Covey, but he wasn't given a Covey name because his dad wasn't a Covey. So and that's how Katniss has like a kind of a odd names after plants.
Yeah.
Katniss is a freaking potato. And Primrose is a flower.
It's a potato?
It's a water potato. You can actually eat Katniss. It's a potato. I knew what a Katniss was because there was memes about this where it was like Primrose and it was like Katniss and they had a picture of a potato.
Yeah.
But I knew what that was before that because of this survival book I was reading, and they were like, "Go get some Katniss," and I was
I
like,
was thinking moonshiners.
"What?"
Don't you use potatoes and liquor?
But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting how after Cornelius gets to District 12, everything is somehow linked to Katniss. Like even they at one point eat potatoes or Katniss. And he goes swimming in the same lake Katniss does. And everything I'm just like, it's all linking together.
Foreshadowing.
The foreshadowing's nuts.
Is it foreshadowing if the book is after? I mean, I guess it is because he was before.
I guess timeline-wise, it's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Release date, not so much.
Like
But
yeah.
he ends up back in the Capitol. I'm not going to tell you how.
Does it tell you how he becomes president?
Sorta, kinda.
Okay.
It tells you how he how and why he goes back to the capital.
Okay.
Definitely not with Lucy. Some betrayal happens, and Serjanus does not make it. And it's so sad. But I gotta say, in his defense, he kept telling him to stop. Cornelius kept telling Serjanus to stop, and he
Oh.
wouldn't. Because he was just like, listen, we could just chill here if you just quit. And he wouldn't quit.
Messing up a good thing.
And then he was messing up Cornelius's life.
Oh.
It wasn't good. So,
And then 64 years later, Katniss
yeah.
happens.
And just brings everything back up to the surface. Well, actually, more than that, Haymitch brings up a lot to the surface.
Oh, yeah, I guess Haymitch probably would.
Because, and we'll talk about this the next time I do an episode, because I realized I hadn't done this book, so I wanted to do this one before Haymitch's book. And
which I'm very excited about.
I feel really bad for Haymitch, but that's another week's conversation.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
I've heard his is rough.
I think what it was is the dude couldn't catch a break.
Yeah.
Like, Katniss would at least catch a break. But no, this man is bad. Is real bad. Snow's was kind of like you could see where he'd run off with Lucy and be happy, but at the same time you could see where he wanted to take over and just destroy everything. So it was always there. It's just,
under the surface.
under the surface.
I have to read them.
You're gonna have to. It's just
You might just have to lock me away somewhere. The only thing I have is my Hunger Game books.
You start with this one?
I don't know.
I think that'd be kind of cool to start with that one.
Maybe I should. I mean, I've seen the movies, so.
Have you seen his movie?
No, I've not seen those movies. I meant like the Hunger Game ones, so I've got like a basis of the games, if you need that. Unless it goes into that.
What are you reading right now?
The Intruder.
Is that Frida McFadden? I thought I saw it on your stairs.
It's wild. And I finished His and Her. Oh, I did that episode. We know that.
Oh, yeah.
Then in between those two, I read one called, I kept getting the name wrong. A House Behind the Dunes? A House Beyond the Dunes?
I've never heard of that one.
It was pretty freaking wild, too. It was Mary Burton.
Well, tonight I'm going to finish Survive the Night by...
I will finish The Intruder tonight because I'm getting a third one before January ends if it's the last thing I do. And I'm very close. The House Beyond the Dunes by Mary Burton. It was wild too. It was, it was a psychological thriller, and the way it all kind of pieced together was pretty crazy.
Oh, so this is Survive the Night by Riley Sager.
Oh, I like that author.
Threw me for a loop, and I'm gonna finish it. I'm at 81%. So I think I've got like an hour.
78%, so I can make it.
So, but yeah.
Especially since I took a nap today.
Oh yeah. I had an energy drink, so we're both gonna finish it.
We're gonna finish our books.
Oh, I'm gonna roll into February, slightly tired.
It's fine. It's a short month.
But yeah, so I've got 3 this month then.
Yep, me too. Woo! And it told me I must read 3 a month to keep on track. I don't know if I can do that, y'all.
See, that's what it was saying to me. And then that one month I read 6, and it was like, woohoo, you're ahead of the game.
See?
And then by the end it was like,
you
didn't make it. That's because July I didn't read any.
A lot of times in the summer I just like slack off and I don't know what it is. I think there's just so much going on. Like there's vacation and
so much going on. I have to go to the beach. I finally finished that Whistle at Night.
Yeah.
By the multiple points of authors. I didn't like it. I didn't. Because, okay, some of the stories were very spooky, and then other stories were spooky in like a human kind of way, about like all the thing that natives gone through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't do nothing about that.
I know.
I just try to be a good person. But
I know.
Yeah. I like the spooky ones. The Skinwalker one really freaked me out.
Oh, I can't.
I was like, oh, she's gonna stab him. And then it was like,
Damn.
I was like, she's gonna get stabbed by a skinwalker. And then it was like, she is me and I am him. And I'm like, oh, she is a skinwalker. I'm just like, no. The last one,
That's kind of the way the house beyond the dudes is.
yeah. The last one, one of the last ones was called Collection, and it really made you think, because I think it was like a metaphor of how like colleges really like to bring in the diversity.
Like
She was
they're
like,
collecting
yeah,
them.
and that's what there was a professor, and this is how, but like it did it in a way of like the lady just had their heads
Ew.
like mounted all over the walls.
Okay, cool.
And then
That's cool.
all the white people were really chill with it. She was not,
Yeah.
because she was at a party at their house, and she was like, and then she's like pointing to like the Hispanic, and she's like, oh, this is, we trace his roots back to the whatever tribe in Mexico, and she like points to the black lady, and she's like, and then we traced her back to Uganda, and but it's like, wait a minute, and she's like,
Those are heads.
yeah, she's like, those are heads, and she kept looking at the one friend who was white, and she was like, do you see the heads? And he's like, oh yeah, she's been collecting them for years, and she's like, but they're heads. You know this, right? Like they're heads. And then when she talked to the professor was like, there's only one that I just need to complete my collection. And then she starts looking around and she's like, oh shit, it's me.
No.
But yeah,
Get her.
so a lot of it was metaphors, and the stuff was actually, you should read it if you like short stories. It'll be something to like, read a short story about 30 minutes long, goes to a different one.
Yeah.
So some of them wrap up, some of them don't. But yeah, it's pretty good. Well, that is today's episode. We hope you enjoy this. Hope you have a fabulous week and an amazing Tuesday. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.